Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll call those meetings to order. First thing is review and approve March 8th, 2022's minutes. Feel simple, please, over.
Make a motion, we approve them as wrote.
I'll second it. All in favor? And review and approve March 22nd warrant.
Make a motion, we approve this as the wrote.
Second it. All in favor? And we're Cumberland County assessing 6 months commitment. Yeah.
Okay, so I also wanted to let you guys know that my staff will be up here this week. I know we have some rain coming, so we're kind of working around that a little bit, but doing permit pickup.
Okay.
So we should be finished with that, hopefully by the end of the week, first, and that worst case scenario. First thing I got, figure out application. And signatures on the back where it says assessor's signature. If you don't mind dating it. For map 7 lot 20.
Good. After.
I also got a last minute, just talking to Deb about it, abatement. This is for Nature's Wilderness.
Oh.
Property was sold, I believe it was March 9th, 2021. Wasn't caught before we committed the 2021.
Mm-hmm.
See, these are next to.
You were aware that it's older than has been.
Oh, Nature's Wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, actually last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Met with Gary, walked through up there.
Okay.
So we're currently working a tentative plan for our personal property, and
Okay.
it started. I gotta go and meet him again, hopefully April 1st, so we'll do a complete walkthrough then. I'll do the campers that are up there. He's given us who the owners are. I just don't have mailing addresses for them yet. I do have email addresses, so we sent a 706A request to the owners, who he says are the owners of the campers up there.
Yeah.
So they've got it electronically, but we need to get mailing addresses so they can bill. Which the law says if you were in possession of it, I can send you the bill, not you, but whoever's in possession of it, so.
Oh, the candy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the abatement of ownership because it was the incorrect owner, this is supplementing it to the correct owner.
Okay.
Leave one for Bob, I guess, you want me to leave it with you for Bob?
Yeah, yeah. I'll leave it.
Thank you. So we have balanced on your 6-month commitment. Based off the discussion about the overlay, this is where it ended up. Rate actually went down, so we're at 580 for the 6 month. And we give you a $13,494.85 overlay.
Okay.
Playing with tweaking pennies at that point, changing it a lot.
Yeah.
That was supposed to get to the 12,000.
Okay.
And I know Deb likes round numbers. I was like, should we go, 97? No, we better not do that. Should be bad. So that gives you that. All right, so here's your certification of assessment warrant. So only, you can check all your numbers, which should match, you'll match your tax rate calc sheet. We'll need signatures here, here, and here.
Okay.
Yep. Which I would do both copies of sound copies to me. When we walk down through, you can do it upside down. So you got no county tax at this point in time. You're gonna go into the,
Yeah.
yep, so you're gonna be 0, that should match. Your municipal appropriation will match.
Yeah.
Tips, you got none. Education costs, match. Overlay, right? So then you get your revenue sharing, 53,000. Homestead reimbursement, which is gonna be down here.
Yeah.
Betty reimbursement, which is there.
Yeah.
Other revenues, which is jumping back up to here.
Okay.
And then your total number, what you're really looking for is this and this, tax for commitment,
Okay.
matching. Anything wrong on the others, it will make that wrong. We did note too that was voted on in December that it would be 180 days before interest began.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there was not a date when taxes were due that was voted on, which I think typically was 60 days. So we got nothing, so basically taxes were due 180 days out, 181 days out,
Mhm.
interest starts.
Mm-hmm. No.
You do this one too for me? Oh, yeah, same thing, it's just,
Oh, it's technical.
could, that's all I had for me, but then we had the quit claiming
Yep,
municipal releases.
yeah, you got, questions on that, so.
I still have questions on that. I
Okay.
do see, Bob's email to David Lowry. It doesn't really answer, his answer back doesn't answer my specific question I have.
Okay.
So with your guys' permission, can I send him an email? I assume that would generate cost to you guys, but,
Yeah,
That's cheap money.
right, yeah,
okay.
yep.
Get you guys both on the same field.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, and so this, by the time you were to sign those, like 2 weeks from now, we're gonna be after the April 1st date. But I mean, we're working on this, so to me, I look at it the same as somebody that's working with me on a tree growth app or something like that. As long as we're in the middle of discussions, we're working on it, you know, we'll get it straightened out, and that's what we'll commit with.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
okay, so we'll take care of that.
for the 22-23, your first 22-23
Yeah.
fiscal year, yeah. Other than that, I'm good. We're working towards it, like I say, permits checked, and any questions for me other than that? Good?
No, I'm all set. All set.
Everyone's good? Hey, Wes? All right, thank you.
So if my forester gets that, changed, corrected, whatever, tree growth app in by April 1st, not a problem, right? He gets it here by April 1st.
Yeah, and typically what's happening, Robin would stamp it, whoever's received it, did sign it or stamp it received on that such and such date, so I know, yeah.
Okay.
And then they turn around, whoever gets it, and she's not here, they scan it right down to us the same day, so we typically will have it in the email same day.
Okay.
And then you get the original hard copy.
Then we get the original, and then seems like 5 other copies too, I don't know.
Same thing.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Yes, thank you guys.
Miscellaneous funding request for town report. So, we're gonna see.
So those are miscellaneous requests,
Okay.
for funding.
These ones we always have in there anyway, right?
I think those are maybe slightly different. We may have had the Saco River,
Yeah.
one in the past, that kind of,
I knew that one was coming.
right, yes. But the others, like there's public,
400, I think.
400?
No, she's 300. I thought, I heard it was big, now it's gonna be 300.
That's tonight.
there was one for like public television, and then,
Yeah, this one's another one.
Okay.
Public television.
Okay. They usually send us something anyway.
I think there was one that didn't actually have a monetary request. It was pretty much, what we would be happy to do.
Does Bob know about this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
These things are gonna hold off for a while. Alrighty, get this sign corrected for penalties done. Bruce, radios and pay ranges. Fine with me.
Not really. In dealing with Neil with the study, what we've done is gone around to the other departments around, and I'm not asking for we set a rate or anything tonight, but what I'd like to do is take these back, look at them, and so that we can come back in a couple of weeks, or in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And, talk about it. There's one for Bob there.
Okay.
And it's pretty self-explanatory in here. Minimum wage is going up, and it has gone up. The only thing I ask that we should look at is if we come up with a paid base for the firefighters. I would like to take it back to January 1st, if I could. So I'm asking that also, if you, as the board, are on board with that. And that's basically all it is, just look through it. Standish has got different numbers, but you also gotta remember those guys are there for 40 hours a week.
Right, yeah.
All right, if you start looking at it, and like Cornish, well, all that pays going to 4 guys, they don't even pay the other guys. Which I don't think is right, but that's my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Really?
It's just my opinion.
So we're kind of at the bottom of the.
Somewhat, somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time to give them a raise. It's been a while.
So, on another note, take a look at these. These I would like to input. Channel 8 tower. This is what's being proposed to them. I had Norm Blake in here today.
Okay.
And what you see highlighted, the UPS power rack, he would like to see that struck out, because he doesn't want to give the auction if we don't have the power, UPS their power. We'll put in battery ones, he said, don't even try to do that. He said, go for the UPS that they have.
Okay.
And out of that, he was okay with the verbiage and stuff. What I'm trying to do, obviously, with the funds and stuff, if I can finagle it, is get these radios straightened out up on the tower this year. If I can't, I'm gonna have to do it again next year.
Yeah.
So my goal is sometime to get this done. This will be sent into Channel 8 and have them approve it, and then I probably will have a meeting with them so that I can talk to them who they would recommend putting up on the tower, put it together. Yeah, Hartford is not gonna be going up on it.
Okay.
He said right out he isn't, and if you look at the bottom, there's also a question down there on the bottom about him going into the building right now.
Oh.
So, and to me, that, it is what it is.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Let them recommend somebody.
We're using that tower and everything, what I'd like to do is make them happy.
Right. Right.
And I don't wanna put somebody up there that doesn't know what they're doing, and then we have to go back 2 or 3 years because something went wrong.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I said, this isn't gonna be a cheap thing. I wish it was, but it's not. Another thing from Jeff today, I got Public Works for Peter may be in trouble. After talking to him this morning.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's gonna take place there, but I wouldn't worry about it. If he got a chance to go up there this summer sometime, then maybe you could take a quick peek at it, but definitely you want to fix the pole. So you know you got it done.
When it's fine.
But I'm just telling you, and I showed this to those guys today, that it's a possibility that it's off frequency up there.
That must be pretty old.
I don't even wanna know that, because ours is pretty old. That has to be, ours up there has to be.
Yeah, that's ever since they passed 911, and that was all installed then.
If it's downstairs, then we can change it out whenever, but if it's up there, I can't.
Right.
And it's not cheap. And I'm gonna scare you with some figures that's coming up. Here, used to be what, 1,500? In your day, well, I figured 2 to 22.
Yeah.
It's over 3. I had the guy in there the other night.
3,000
It
for
was over
turnover.
3,000.
Yeah,
I don't have a choice.
Right.
And it's gonna have to be a couple of years to stay up. Through that, you're gonna have one big bill every 10 years.
Right.
And it makes more sense to
Spread it out.
budget it in. So, and radios, those are going up too. I'm looking at replacing some radios. The radios we have, I think I have 4 that are totally junk, totally. So those 4 will have to be replaced. And what I'm trying to do this time around, when we do it, it'll be a little bit extra, but it's gonna save us some headache. Remember the key in the mic? Somebody had an open mic?
Yeah.
What does county do?
They tell you if there's an open mic.
But if you get an open mic, do you hear it?
No.
So, talk to Hackett, we can program these radios so they got numbers on them. And when I'm thinking the firefighters' numbers we can use
Oh, yeah.
over and over again, even if somebody else takes it, replaces it now.
Yeah.
And that way, county will know, and a couple radios, meaning probably chief and assistant chief, would know who it is, so you can call or phone. It doesn't make sense what they do, because what happens, if somebody keys a mic accidentally sets on the button, all we hear is noise. And county gets on, we can hear them, because they've got a higher power radio, saying somebody's got a, open mic. Well, the guy's got the open mic, don't hear it.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't hear it. So what we talk about doing is taking these newer radios and start changing, putting numbers in them, so that when that happens, we can tell who it is.
Yeah, you can call them up, say, get off your mic.
So, prices are going up, I just want you guys to be aware.
Oh, yeah.
The radios also, and that's something I've asked extra, but I don't think it's gonna be that much extra.
Yeah.
But it's something we need.
Yeah.
I've seen more radio problems than you can shake a stick at.
Mm.
I've seen radios dropped out of cranes, I've seen
Oh, yeah.
radios dropped in the ocean.
I got one up here, and I don't even tell you whose radio it is.
Yours, huh? Yeah.
They made it all the way from my house, all the way to SD's shop. And I didn't know where I lost it, and I knew I lost it for months. And finally Kyle picked it up, and he gave me the serial number, and said, I think I know who that is. And I was sitting at the desk at the time, I pulled it up, and said, yeah, I know who it is.
We used to have trouble with guys that put them in their pocket here. They go up to the side of a ship, the ship's about 60 feet
Drop it
deep,
down.
and they bend over like this, now. Gone.
The other thing I'm gonna be going for
$800 gone.
You're going for 2 weeks?
I'm going for 2 weeks coming Saturday, so.
Okay.
I'll be back April 8th. So everyone, including you, will be nice and quiet.
We won't miss you, Bruce.
Yeah, you won't.
Have a good time.
Alright. Community center rental, MMA liability agreement. I guess we gotta answer back to MMA, and, they said that whoever rents space out in here should have liability insurance. Now, I guess you're right, that if anybody comes in for a birthday party, well, they're gonna have to have insurance.
We're gonna see it's a certificate of insurance.
Yeah.
No one used to say that. They got insurance?
How to kill a birthday.
Yeah.
I think we gotta look into this a little
I
deeper
think
too.
so, because something like that, I would think that, they only got in here a couple hours, right?
The town has liability insurance on the building, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So what does that cover? I mean, it's liability is liability.
yeah, it covers anybody that gets injured here, yeah.
But this was to rent out.
This is the rent out.
It said to,
Any
As
rent.
opposed to visiting or doing business.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Don't owners have event policy riders that they can tap in on?
they got a program called Tulip, and they can tap into that and name us as an insured. But like I say, I'd like to give you a little more cut, dry information and stuff, but I can't right now.
Okay.
What does the library do?
Tenant user liability insurance program, that's,
So the renters are assigned a number, a code that, shows when they go on to register our facility. But they, at a reduced rate, are able to buy this liability insurance that's in addition to the town's liability insurance.
For a period, short period of time.
Right, I'm not certain, that this would apply, to such things as a birthday party like Dwight, but that's something that we need to seriously suss out.
this is,
Because when I approached them through email, it was more for renting out the room long-term
Right.
for your gym use up, or,
yeah.
That's why
matter of
we
fact,
gotta
I got
look
a
at
call
this
today
Yeah,
from
yeah.
a lady that would like to have gymnastics for kids So such things, you know, there could be injury. So that's what was more, that was more specifically, you know,
So there may
addressed.
be like event time span, small, larger sort of like instructional thing for a longer period, and then a long-term rental. They usually break things down in categories.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Can you guys look for something on my end of it? Because I believe talking to Marcus up there, that if we had a chicken supper, we had anything like that, we had to have insurance as a rider above what the town had.
Really?
Well, the time that I had, we did that, bicentennial, I wanted to have sleigh rides out here, and Norman said I couldn't do it unless they got somebody that has insurance.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
right, that would be whoever owned the vehicle.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a nightmare, but I did it.
Yeah,
So although the birthday party is a matter of hours, I suppose things can happen during
Sure.
the course of a few hours.
right.
So it is something I think that needs to be, and they did have a disclaimer at the end of all of that paperwork that basically said, contact your attorney.
Yeah.
So although they offer that benefit and it's a reduced rate, they recommended that we seek legal counsel ultimately.
You wanna do that, Robin, on the side, David Lauer, and see what you said?
Well, legally him, it's his MMA, because they're the carrier of our insurance.
Right, but this is MMA.
Right.
It said seek legal counsel.
The town's attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what he would say, see what, because we'd be on the hook if something happened, so we'd be one of the.
Scary.
Well, it's, you know, people are sue happy now, so you gotta be covering yourself.
But it's actually, it's the MMA insurance company covering themselves. Because you're covered by their insurance.
Yeah.
They just wanna have somebody else be co-insured, so if there's a problem, they don't get hit up.
Right, right.
So it's not you getting yourself covered, it's you covering MMA.
Yeah. Yes, you're right, you're right, yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense for things such as birthday parties and everything, but if you have somebody here that's gonna be teaching a program and there's equipment involved and all of that, I think it would be them to have some sort of coverage themselves.
Right, yeah.
So
Or
my,
a contract with, you know, like gym membership or,
so my insurer said that the facility here has basic liability insurance. If you get an instructor, somebody to tell, they have to have the insurance.
right,
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
but just basic insurance can cover this sort of situation. Like whether you got after school, or the offices, or, you know, whatever business you normally do.
It threw flags up to me because we used to have that Tai Chi thing here, and I mean, was they insured or what? It looks to me like they weren't insured. You know, it's,
I think there's a certain amount covered through the school as continuing ed. So those are different sort of scenarios as opposed to somebody coming in and teaching in an instructed situation.
so we're going through the school?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 that's a legal out.
Yeah,
You know what that is, one covering another one.
yeah. You know, it umbrellas over various sort of scenarios.
Yeah. But before we say yes or no, I think we gotta look into this just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, be more clear, and I think I got a guy's card that has our account here, so I'll give you his name and number and stuff,
Okay.
so you can call him direct.
Because it was, our underwriter is a woman.
Kareem,
So, yep,
yeah.
I think his name is Marcus, I have the card of his.
Yeah, then we get one other guy that comes around, he's the one that comes around and does everything.
Does the audit?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
like an inspection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there was the line here about the using the room as a gym, just consult the state fire marshal's office on that.
Yeah. It's like the kitchen, we had to do the fire marshals through the kitchen.
Right.
Get that done down there.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. any fire involved, what about the gym? Do they must regulate that kind of stuff. Fire marshal office, like carnivals, they regulate carnivals, the fire marshal's office. I don't know.
That would be working with like high-powered electricity and maybe generators and that sort of stuff, so I would think that probably would.
Yeah.
Like the kitchen.
Right, yeah.
Plumbing and electric.
Yeah.
I wonder here, because my own objective, you know, what I would love to see about this community center is it be a community center pulling people in for whatever purpose. And I wondered if on the side here, just to explore the possibility of the town taking out a separate policy, which would cover all these miscellaneous things that MMA wants you to,
Yeah.
you know. I
Like
mean,
an
I just,
umbrella policy.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
how do we make it work?
Right,
Not-
yeah,
Yeah, how do we make it not work?
Yeah.
Not
Same
more
thing with
easy
the farm
too,
and-
yeah.
Yeah,
Because you do wanna draw people in.
Right.
Right,
Well, you wanna use it as a community center.
right, that's what it was intended for.
But you wanna be covered too.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So if that's all it takes is a few $100s.
And the town can do it, and people, I mean, because if I was coming here and I said, I wanna have a party for, you know, 50 people, and you were saying, well, you gotta get insurance,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, yeah,
Right,
right.
I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
That's scary not knowing, you know.
No.
or maybe the attorney could say, well, in that case, if it's just for a short period of time, I was thinking, what about waivers? Or
Right.
something,
Yeah,
you know,
gyms usually do that.
right,
That's
something in,
right.
right,
I think
as opposed
long-term,
to a
yeah.
long-term rental agreement.
Right.
Like you said, equipment versus
Right.
instructors, and I
Right.
mean, I think there's different scenarios
There
that
are.
we have to explore with,
Yeah, yeah.
because waivers usually cover a lot of things. But,
Whenever I did any of the aerobics programs here, I signed a waiver.
right,
Whenever I had joined a gym, I signed a waiver.
exactly,
Just saying that, you know, I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
Don't do anything stupid.
Right.
and that you're in fairly good physical condition,
Exactly.
and, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
It seems like the waivers be good for like a one-time
that's what I'm,
event.
that's what I'm
Right.
thinking,
Anything
yeah.
longer than that.
Yeah, this would be
then
like a
make it
6-week
different.
class or,
Right.
you know, something like
Yeah.
that, just that moment in time.
If you get an okay from them in writing, then you get something to stand on.
Right.
You know, like right now, we're kind of in no man's land.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a consent, basically, like,
Exactly.
you know, when you go to a doctor, you give them consent to treat.
Exactly.
So, kind of
Same
a
thing.
similar situation,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
We don't have any mention of that in our contracts that we ask them to sign. Even for a birthday party, they have to
Mhm.
sign. There's no mention of anything about liability in there, is there?
This is just a month.
Yeah,
Well, when we drew that
Yeah.
contract up,
right,
which is what we have everybody sign,
yeah,
even if it's a birthday party.
right. I don't think.
It doesn't say anything about liability in there.
Right.
I don't know how much them things have been signed lately either.
They
So it's something
they
that-
are because they have to pay at the same time. Usually,
Yeah.
that's the way she used to do it, was when they came in to sign up, they paid
Right.
and signed the agreement.
so, kind of
Yeah.
revisit the agreement, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, it might wanna look
Like
at
nothing's
it.
so huge, yeah.
I know somebody wants to, interest I told her about the old office down there, put in a barber shop.
Mm.
So something that would be long-term,
Mm.
you know, so.
That would be part of his expense no matter where you went.
Right, yeah,
And it's not just the community center.
right.
Right, right.
Well, in that situation, he should have
Exactly.
liability
Yeah.
insurance,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what that email basically pointed to,
Right,
was more that
cause
situation.
that TULIP program
Right.
it says tenant user liability
Right.
insurance program. The tenant's usually long-term.
Mhm.
Maybe, we should include a waiver with our one-time things.
Mhm.
You know, just without even going any further, just process something and ask them to sign a waiver.
Yeah, yeah. Cover up ourselves.
You're invited to
I mean,
my
if they're
party
using
here,
the-
sign away.
Well, if they're using the kitchen though,
Right.
you know, I mean, they could get burned, different things could happen.
Sure.
It's an unfortunate thing, I mean, I'm not trying to be a party pooper or
Right,
anything,
yeah,
but
Yeah,
they could choke, they could burn themselves, anything could happen.
They could turn around and say, well, that stove was just, it wasn't working right, and I burnt myself, and, yeah.
And that's where our liability insurance would kick in, but
Yeah.
that being
Somebody-
said, if they
somebody
had some
tried.
sort of a way, that might help.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to get something for nothing.
Yeah. That's why we put the lock on the stove.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can't operate it with them unless, the way we did have it was that we had to light the stove and turn it off.
Yeah,
It's not them.
right. Yes.
It has a key.
Blow off the blaze.
Well, somebody left the gas on and then walked
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
You know, and then something electrical clicked. Somebody turned a light switch on or something.
I don't do electric, I hate electric.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the gas.
You get gas?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I blew one up once.
Really?
Well, it really wasn't all my fault, my friend, I told her to light the stove, she didn't light it, she thought she did, but.
She
so
turned the gas on?
Yeah, well, she put a match down there, but didn't take off, so, I'm an idiot, went and put the match down in there, and blew up.
Yeah.
I did that on that gas grill.
Oh,
You know, I turned the gas on, it hit the igniter,
Right.
let it run just a moment, hit it, and it didn't go, and I didn't show I had matches right there.
Yeah.
So I struck a match, and I bent over, and I stuck it down underneath it. And I did that.
Boom.
Oh, the hood went right up on my head.
Yeah, I'm like them, I'm scared, I'm scared.
Now I learned, leave the hood open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Blew it open, huh?
Oh, yeah, it blew right up. I mean, it stayed all on the hinge and everything, but just, my head would have been away. Live and learn.
That's right. Oh, God. All right, Zoom account.
Debbie brought to my attention that, there's like a monthly bill for having the Zoom account, the equivalent of roughly $15 or so. So if she felt that y'all were no longer in need of having the Zoom in place, that it would be one last bill.
Right.
And Bob thought maybe, he mentioned that it should, going forward, should we need it, kind of revisit it again, cancel it for now, but that's up to.
No, it's like when we had that meeting with, Channel 8, it came in handy then. But
I got two Zoom meetings, I got one tomorrow and one Thursday. So, I mean, for me, for $150 a year, it's cheap money,
I think this is if we're hosting them.
Right, yeah.
So if we're hosting, if we call the meeting, then
Yeah.
as the host, we'd have to set it up and invite people to attend.
Right.
So that's where that fee comes from. If you're invited to attend somebody else's meeting, then that's on their buck.
Right.
That's how I understand it.
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
I've never worked with Zoom
Yeah.
myself, but.
I think it'd be a good idea to keep it.
Yeah,
They come in, I mean, with this tip with, the solar companies, it might come in handy,
yeah.
because we may be starting those up again, so. I think for now, we'll keep it, I think.
But we can table it, talk next week if we want it too.
Yeah.
So table it for now.
Yeah. Alright. Reminder, budget review tomorrow, 2:00. Yeah. So we got, planning board meeting Thursday night, right, 7:00? Mary, you got anything for us?
No, not really, thank you.
Kathy?
No, you kinda answered my questions. Things are moving forward, but, trying to find out how more of a recreational usage of the building can be achieved.
Yeah.
That's all for the good. The vestibule around the front door to the library, we didn't paint it because it needed repairs, the stucco. I've had 2 people look at it, neither of them wanted to do the job. So I asked Sebago Technics if they had somebody that they could send out to take a look at it. I haven't had a call back yet, I only called yesterday, so nothing today.
Yeah.
To find out what we can do, there's the stairs that go down into the basement have a little gap against the outside wall. I've never seen that before. So I'm not sure if that wall is having problems, if it's a temperature thing and it goes back to normal because of the cold. I have no idea. It's an old building and I don't understand those sorts of things. That's not in my bag. So to have them come out and take a look at it and figure out what needs to be done, and if they have somebody that can do the stucco work, if they've got a suggestion. Or if anybody has a suggestion, just somebody that knows how to do this sort of stuff. Because it's actually falling apart.
Yeah.
There's a little section that's actually fallen out. The back stairs need to be worked on, and I'm trying to find somebody that does commercial doors, because I tried to get Home Depot and Lowe's involved. They're residential only, they won't touch it. So, even though they've got access in their catalog to exactly what we could use there, they won't do it. So, suggestions would be helpful.
Consultant hardware.
Consultant hardware?
Hey, Bruce, what's Steve's last name?
Moody.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living.
Well, he did, he's in the gas business now.
Oh, yes?
Exploding stove.
I think, what is that, Yarmouth? It's just across the line from Elma, on Route, is it 9? You know where it is? Cumberland, it's in Cumberland, but it's coming in from Portland out that way, 9. Consultant hardware, and that's what they do is commercial doors.
Okay.
Locks.
Great,
stuff like that.
thanks. That might help on that one.
The last name is Mailman, you're gonna talk to him.
Mailman?
Yeah, it's called Mailman, he's gonna be talking about what's the first name.
Okay.
That's a good, that's for me, Don Millman,
Don?
yeah, he's dead now.
Oh, never mind.
But he was electrical.
He won't do it.
Contractor.
I don't think he'd stand.
No, he was electrical contractor, but he doesn't know anymore, Don,
Mailman.
yeah.
Okay, so, the library, who handles finances of all of that? Is this a self-standing facility? Is it connected to the town? How do I approach the job? So far, everything I've managed is just I've gotten grants to do, like, painting, roofing, any of the sorts of repairs, maintenance types of repairs. But I'm thinking this is structural. Am I still gonna be looking for grant money to cover that? Or, I don't know. I'm just sort of running this around with you guys at the moment.
It's like the fire department.
Good question.
Yeah.
They can't function unless they are funded by the town,
Right.
but it's private.
Okay, and that's fine, and I can look for grant money to handle this stuff. I've still got a certain amount left over from the past, and so I'll apply to this. I just don't know what I'm looking at for numbers. I have no idea.
You have to do like Bruce and get up and talk to him and ask for more money.
Yeah.
You notice I didn't mention my name, because you're not gonna find it on that paper.
Okay, all right, so I'll just keep working
I
through
think
that.
that's part of the reason the fire department, did jump over, we couldn't function by ourselves.
Right.
No,
We couldn't do it.
you can't buy fire trucks running bean suppers anymore.
No.
You can't do it. You
And
know,
I'm not sure if this is an insurance kind of thing. I don't think that it is, I think it's just maintenance repair type category.
Yeah.
And so
Wear and
that's
tear
where
or
I'm
something.
working from.
Yeah,
So if there's anything else I need to know, let me know.
yeah.
somebody else did that once before, we had some stucco work done on that. We had some stucco done on the end of the building, up in the gable end. Remember that?
Gone.
Yeah, I can't remember who did it either, but I
The
remember.
stucco
it was done.
repairs on the outside are really obvious, they didn't really blend well, and those are falling apart as well. But this is, more of this is at the base on the inside where that little well is, and there's moisture in there.
Oh,
The snow comes off the roof, freezes down, there's no way to get rid of it till spring.
Lily's Flower Shop in Cornish,
Yes,
I believe, stucco finish.
Yeah, it does.
yeah, it is a stucco finish, you're
So
right.
I wonder, because they had,
Repairs done to that window.
with the accident that was there.
Excellent, thank you, yes.
And Kathy, while we're on the subject of letter, have you presented a letter for the funding? No. Okay, okay, because you were on my list, so I was like, while we're chatting
Yes,
about
I
it.
have notes, but I haven't
Because
gotten
I
it
got
done yet.
Sharon for the Historical Society that I think.
Oh, good, okay. Thank you.
That's it, okay, Joe?
No, thank you.
Wes?
Not much, but I happened to be on School Road yesterday, and there was a tree down. I got a hold of it, came down, and the utility pole with a guide wire come across another utility pole, and then dead man, and so the tree took out the cable and the dead man pole and whatnot, so we got a hold of Chris, he jumped down and cleaned it up, so it's fine. I guess CFP still has to work on the guide wire.
It wasn't on the electrical wire.
No,
No, it's
No.
the
that was my
stabilizer wire.
initial concern.
Yeah. We've been told for the fire department not to touch anything
That's
on the
right.
wire.
No line is safe
Just
to touch ever.
I was able
Yeah.
to see it, so.
Paul, you have it?
Well, I'd like to revisit, my concerns that I shared a couple of meetings ago about the occupational sign down at
Yeah.
the end of 113 and Route 5, the insurance guy that has put up a sign there.
Yeah.
I did a little more research on that myself, and I contacted, the representative in, Augusta from DOT, looking for regulations.
Yeah.
And didn't find any. One of the things that was, mentioned was that it's either an on-premise business or an off-premise business. There are two different regulations regarding the size and nature of the sign.
Yeah.
It's an on-premises, it's different than off-premises. So she told me that she had been in touch with Wes, and I talked a little bit about it to Wes, and she'd been in touch with the owner, Joel. And apparently, he's waiting for a PUC to operate his business out of that house. And he was expecting some information on that by the 14th of next month. Which means that it would be an on-site business, which would make a difference on what he did for a sign down there. Off-site, there were no sign regulations as far as size goes that she could give me, even though we passed a law regarding billboards, and apparently there's a sign size in there somewhere, but I can't seem to find anything. So I don't know whether it's in regulation or not. If it's two signs,
Yeah.
the way I see it,
Yeah.
not one big one. In some cases, you're not allowed to have two signs like that. Again, depending upon off premises or on premises. So there's just been a lot of, information that I haven't been able to get to see where he stands down there. My concern, I guess, at this point is that, to me, it's a very tacky sign. I don't wanna see a lot of those signs coming into our town. I think we need to establish some regulation as far as being able to offer a permit that would indicate what size is acceptable in our town. Other towns have done that to a great degree. Of course, we don't have the business or the people that would require signs like they do in Scarborough, but I looked at Scarborough's, and their regulations are just phenomenal as far as what you can do and when you can do it, size, painted, and they have to, because you come to one corner, you got 15. We don't have that, but we do have a need to establish some sort of regulations so that as growth continues to come our way and people continue to do business either out of their home, in his case, it's an online business, I believe. So it isn't even a building. You know, we aren't getting any information from a building from that regard. And it's tacky, I believe. I don't wanna see that. And I've talked to, we have some other people that are just as concerned as I am in terms of not being able to regulate that sort of thing. At one point, I thought we could at least follow the state's regulations, but apparently they don't have any.
I think that.
So, I guess I'd like to ask the selectmen to consider getting us involved in some sort of regulations from the standpoint of what we can allow, what Wes can, when he has a guy come in and in certain cases, you have to have a permit to put up a sign, especially on a state highway. Off-site, on-site, it's a different thing again. I'm not sure where, but, and there's a fee that goes with that permit. Usually the code enforcement officer for the town issues the permit and gets the fee. But Wes doesn't have any code to go by.
Right.
So you can't tell him what to put up, and we don't get a fee to begin with. There's just an area that, I think should be looked at, how we're gonna handle this situation in the future. Much as we have to look at other things in the future, because there's growth coming our way. And this is not business growth, to me. If somebody's operating a home business, I don't think we're getting much out of that type of growth. So that's where we stand. I'm just asking the selectmen to look into it, ask the planning board to look into it. And I'd like to know whether he has put in for a PUC to run it out of a house instead of, because that makes a difference whether he's doing it on-site or off-site.
What's a PUC?
You got it backwards, it's CUP.
CUP, sorry.
I knew what he meant.
He has, well, Wes would know more about that than I. You would get the application.
Yep.
But we had some discussion with the planning board about this issue, and we said to Wes, bring him in, bring him in. My personal opinion is that he cannot get a CUP as things are right now, because it would be a subdivision. He's already got a house and an apartment, and you have 3 entities on one lot, you got a subdivision. That's my personal opinion. Other people might disagree with me, but, my personal opinion is that would have to be, as just under a CUP, that would be an off-site, billboard.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say a little something. Joel is trying to satisfy the state ordinance that the sign has to be on the same property as the business. So he's attempting to establish a business office in the rental property, property he owns. As far as a subdivision is 3 lots or 3 dwellings. That's it. Not an office. So he's trying to establish an office on premise so he satisfies the state regulation and the state will be happy. I've emailed with this saying, women at the state, and that's how it's evolved so far. It's true, we do not have a sign ordinance, can't do a thing about it.
They tried to put one through some years ago back, and it blew up bad. It was one of them little things that, you know, sometimes at town meeting, a $30 thing gets fluffed up real bad, and a $100 thing goes right through like nothing.
Yeah.
And that, I remember that, I was at that town meeting when that happened. That did not go over good.
If you're an on-site business, which I think a lot of those concerns at that time were signs that were already businesses that were on site, I believe. The sign was on the site.
Yeah,
Different than an
once-
off-site sign, I think.
We can look into it a little, Mike.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee nothing, but.
Well,
No, you're right.
I'm just expressing my concern over seeing those signs and knowing that we have no control. You know, we should be able to control, and it's a state highway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a corner that gets a lot of attention.
That's why-
Everybody coming and going in the corners gets a look at that.
Joel had approached me, probably last fall about the sign. I don't know when the signs went up about last fall, so back then. And I say to him, we have no sign ordinance. I did think I said, keep it down to a 4x8, no larger than a 4x8. And I said, being a state road, you wanna keep it at least 33 feet off the center, so it's beyond the 4-rod road right away for a state highway. He's done that.
I don't know the exact size of those signs. I think they're each about 4x5, would be a guess just looking at it.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a full 8-foot length.
No, but it's not one sign, it's two.
Yeah, it is, I would consider it.
Well, it's a B sign, and being no sign ordinance, we have no control of that. I know.
No, I understand that.
Portage has a sign ordinance, and they say one sign painted on both sides is one sign. So he could bring the B sign together to make it one sign. He could do that.
And that's usually what the planning board would do, say, you know, both sides is one side, right? And, yeah. That's, they usually remind people.
So far, Joel's been very cooperative. I don't think we'll have a problem. He'll try to work things out correctly.
But we don't have anything guiding it, that's.
You're right.
Could be happen tomorrow, another guy comes in,
Yeah,
does something else.
before you know it, you got a bunch of signs and coming up down 113.
Small billboard.
Small
Well,
buildings, right.
the state has official business directory signs, those green signs
Right.
that everybody should get, I think.
Yeah.
So they're in conformance with whatever else, they're either directional signs or advertising signs.
Yeah. The ones
You can do that, you can buy one
They
of those.
stayed out with it a couple of years. Yeah.
When the billboards went down, that's why those signs came around.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And those 4x4 posted signs, they came up about 2 or 3 years later because there was a lawsuit about, freedom of speech. Taking the billboards down was fighting into freedom of speech, so they created 4x4 posts.
So the state makes them pay for these signs.
Right.
It's not like a moneymaker for the state. Tell them they can't have billboards, but here, buy our sign.
Right.
That's all I had.
Okay, we'll take
Thank
into
you.
consideration, yeah. Bruce, you anything else? Nope. Okay. Chad,
No, not right now.
we gave Debbie okay to order you a new vest for beach tips.
Yeah.
Anything, Robin?
Well, thank you.
Go ahead.
I hate to bring this up, and it's a sore subject right now, but our signs that we gotta have, you know, welcome Baldwin,
Yeah.
one on Station Hill, and the one on the highway line.
Yeah.
Speaking of signs.
Those are okay now.
I had it wrote down on my thing, I didn't just come up with it. But it just, the thing that he sent back don't look like our signs. Did you see that? So, I thought we took a picture of a sign and sent it to him. I thought you did.
He's already
didn't
got them done?
No, no, it was kind of a mock-up, and he actually had kind of a silhouette of an image of a person standing next to the sign, to kind of indicate the scale of the height, you know, pretty much. But, I don't know if they look like the others, but I thought it was attractive, but that's, I don't know if it looked exactly like the.
Yeah, well, it was
I'd have to
on
look at
the,
it.
we got an email on it.
Mhm.
Then he showed a picture of it, it was kind of a blocky looking sign.
Well, let's look again, 'cause I don't remember seeing it.
But I don't think anybody's approved it, right? I haven't heard
No,
one
that's
way
why
or
I
another.
had
Right.
grabbing it now,
Yeah.
because I think we ought to have them look all the same and stuff.
But yeah, I did, I sent him a picture saying this is what it's like to look like, you know, and.
Can you get that picture again, if we needed it?
Yep.
Or maybe we'll table this till next week and
Kind
stuff.
of the sketch I wrote out, yeah.
Yeah, they look like that on sticks.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
If I have to, I mean, I don't live that far from that guy. I can take a picture right over to him and show him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets that approval first before he starts
Oh, yeah.
making them.
Well, I think that's what he's looking for, isn't it?
Right. That was my understanding, that it was kind of a mock-up, so that you would have an idea as to, before he pulled the trigger on it,
Yeah,
whether or not you were in agreement.
we waited this long for it, so we'll wait a little longer.
Yeah, a week isn't what I was
Right,
thinking.
yeah.
Did there anything ever turn up in the investigation of that?
No,
Nothing. You know, you'd have thought by now, you heard something,
Yeah, no.
you know, but,
Somebody would have opened their mouth and said something.
yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't have anything. We hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we call it quits.
I second it. All in favor? Thank you, people.
Thank you.